So we're going to look today at a couple attacks from the mount and some ideas from the mount with a little series that I especially had some success with at the lower belt. So we had a request from white belt, and this was the kind of approach I used that had a lot of success with sparring white, green, and blue belts. Okay, so my partner's on bottom mount. So just briefly, the attacks. The first two attacks that we're going to look at are Americana and Ezekiel. So just super quick review, simple attacks. Americana, I would be going 2-on-1 on my partner's arms. I'd be using my body weight to push the wrist down to the mat. As soon as I get the wrist on the mat, I want to bring my elbow to block my partner's neck and keep this space, isolating his wrist from his body. And I'll go under, over my own wrist. Notice my thumb's on top. I want to bring my knee, my trailing knee, up into my partner's armpit. I want to open my knee on my right side. Okay, from here I stay nice and low. I do my paintbrush motion, dragging the back of my partner's hand along the mat and slowly raising the elbow. Okay, so Americana and Ezekiel. For Ezekiel, I need to have my crossface and a nice strong connection on the side of the crossface to my partner's neck. Okay. From here, I'm looking to get 3 or 4 fingers inside my sleeve, and I'm going to bring my fingers underneath my jaw, my partner's jaw. Now, here's a little detail that'll help finishing your Ezekiels. Once you get here, don't flare your elbow real high. There's a temptation to flare your elbow to really dig under the chin. Okay, but the more my elbow comes up, if he does manage to get his hand on my knuckles or my hand here with a grip, yeah, okay, now there's no way I can resist and push through that. So I want to make sure when I'm setting it up, getting ready to go, that I'm pretty much just parallel across the lines of his shoulders. So I want to be punching straight across, not down and trying to scoop back up. Okay, so very important here. Also notice when I make this grip on my sleeve, I want the back of my hand to my partner's neck. So don't grab like this, like thumb up. Okay? When I grab, I want to be bringing my knuckles to my partner's neck. Then all together, both elbows, both arms working together, I want to punch all the way across. Here. Okay? Now, when we get on this side, over here, you can go over or under. Okay, either way, but I want to make sure my fingers are going down, pointing down towards the ground. Or, you know, sometimes you're making a fist, but you're punching the fist down to the ground. Here, this is on the windpipe and trachea. I want to be punching down so I cover this artery. Okay, like all your chokes, there's always a little point of a triangle somewhere in the choke. You know, whether it's your rear naked choke or your triangle choke. Okay, in this one, it's this little point right here between my wrist and my sleeve. And I always want to line that up with the center of right under my partner's chin, so that I'm making sure to cover both arteries. Okay, now, the last attack we're going to talk about from mount is the armbar. But before we go for the armbar, something I want you to understand about the mount or any of our positions when we talk about being in a dominant position. What do we mean by dominant position? Because sometimes I think that actually makes us over anxious to attack. We get the dominant position and we think we should be winning right now. We should be finishing this guy right now because I'm in the dominant position. Dominant position, it refers to the stakes. He's fighting to escape, survive, get back to neutral. I'm fighting to finish him right now. So I have dominance in terms of what I'm fighting for is much more significant, okay? It doesn't mean that I'm more likely to finish him than he is to escape, okay? If we're playing positional sparring and he's just trying to escape and I'm just trying to finish, it's a pretty even fight, right? If escaping is a victory for him and I have to get a submission, we're on pretty equal footing, okay? So what that's going to mean when I start making my attacks here, I want to favor some low risk attacks, right? That's just another way of saying position before submission, right? So that's why I like to just start working Ezekiel and Americana. There's not a big risk of me getting rolled over and knocked off my partner doing Ezekiel and Americana, okay? That brings us to one other question we had. When I'm here hooking my crossface? Am I not in danger of getting rolled over because I've committed this post here? So even if my partner hooks over my arm and hooks my foot, okay, aren't I in danger of getting rolled this way? Now what's going to happen when you get rolled over, if you can kind of try to notice this happening when you do it, a lot of times your partner starts to bridge, and as you feel you're going over, you make some sort of post and you make a big movement here, your body becomes kind of rigid, it takes all the connection off your partner, all the weight off your partner, and even if you don't get rolled over, they make a hip escape and they're back to making their guard. Okay, so let's scoot back over here. So here's what I want you to try when you commit to that deep crossface. When you commit to this deep crossface, okay, and you're trying to develop this attack, from here, you're just gonna commit beforehand, you're not gonna react to his big bridge, okay? No matter how much I feel that I need to make a big post over there, every time he does a big bridge, I'm gonna sag my weight down and relax my weight over on this side, okay? And there's a moment, even when he does his biggest bridge, big, huge bridge, I feel I might go over, okay? But I relax. And he can't make that transition where he needs to step this leg over to finish his bridge and roll, okay? Now, let's see, so making sure we understand that low risk attacks, okay? Because then I'm really utilizing the dominance of my position, and I'm not risking losing my position to make my attacks, okay? Now, from here, armbar, super quick review. From here, pull up the sleeve, trap the elbow, post on the shoulder, step, slide. Remember, I always want to be getting my tricep up behind, or my hips up behind my partner's tricep, and my knee up over his shoulder. Okay? So just bear in mind, hips behind the tricep, knee over the shoulder is going to set us up a nice strong armbar here. Okay? Now, okay, so now that I have kind of my lower risk attacks planned out, that armbar is like the big finisher. If he really gives me the armbar, I'll go for that armbar. But usually I want to make sure I'm not giving up my position on top. So what happens as I start to attack these Ezekiels, especially if I've gone for a couple of them and he's, you know, defended successfully or made his escape, but he's felt that I'm looking for the Ezekiel. A lot of the time he'll start to block this crossface as I start to reach for the crossface. Now, from here, another thing to understand when we're on top is this is my grip. Okay, even though he's grabbing my arm, I can move this grip wherever I want it. So if my partner keeps his hand connected really strongly to my hand, I'm going to bear in mind that I can put that hand wherever I want. Okay? So first thing that'll do is that can get us a really nice setup for the Americana. Usually, what's the difficulty with the Americana? This first part, it doesn't go anywhere when I go to push on it. Okay? Even if I'm doing my body weight, if somebody's really stubborn, keeping their hands to their chest, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay? But if he's hooking here, I can while he's distracted with this, I can start to walk my weight up, and I can start to actually place that hand where I want it, if he's being stubborn and keeping his hand connected. Okay? So right here, I can get him a nice bend in his elbow. I come across, I block his head, and I start to work on my Kimura here. My Americana. I like to use my head to kind of reinforce when I come across and make the grip. I kind of hit my head on my own wrist to help bring his hand down. Okay, and then I can make my Americana here. Okay. The other one, from here, as I'm reaching, he's blocking, I can use the same thing to start to set up my armbar. Okay? So if he's really stubbornly connected, same deal. I can post and get my hips behind his tricep and my knee past his shoulder. From here, I make my regular armbar, or here we have a nice connection to the belly down armbars we've been looking at. If I control here, post. Now, if he does a big strong bridge to try to turtle out of here, get out, I can cover his head and go for my belly down armbar here. So, some things to think about as you approach attacking from the mount. I like those low risk attacks at the beginning, the Americana and Ezekiel. and look for that arm bar if they're really overcommitting or really exposing the elbow. But remember, don't get anxious in the mount. Okay, you're supposed to be comfortable in the mount. So don't feel like you're the one who has to rush to finish.